So such a handbook is indeed a valuable guide. We can't say anything more about that. Practical guides are always are very valuable in that they're practical, particularly for female or women fisheries extension officers out there and other fisheries practitioners in the field, because the handbooks provide guidance in integrating GSI or social or gender and social inclusion principles in not only extension officers' implementation of the work programs on the ground, but also in the critical area of planning and programming. The handbook is also helpful in mainstreaming GSI into the work and applying GSI lens into fisheries programs. In the past, a few of our fisheries, the Ministry's development programs, particularly in the fisheries area of development, since the inception, has generally been, though being gender supportive or reinforcing, but they've been somewhat socially exclusive. And so, because these are dictated by traditional cultural norms that we have, but the new chapters or the modules of this handbook is valuable in that in complementing the existing handbook, it'll also be able to provide a more practical hands-on tools for fisheries practitioners or fisheries extension officers, particularly in the public sector or government officials. So I have two favorite parts of the handbook. Now the Ministry of Fisheries was honored to be part of, invited and participate in the right workshop for the 3 additional modules that were written to complement the existing handbook about a year ago today. And so the learnings out of that would have been my favorite part, particularly the practical angles that were used in the revised handbook that the existing handbook built on. And so exploring fisheries and aquaculture, coastal fisheries management, offshore fisheries management and aquaculture from a more hands-on practical angle, such as fieldwork related interventions and working at the community level during engagements. Another favorite part, noting that our coastal communities are very dependent on the marine resources because they provide, livelihoods, they economically empower women in particular. This module would be most helpful in assisting our fisheries practitioners in applying the GSI lens. Traditionally in the past, our fisheries programs would have a focus, but we're not really thinking GSI, how am I having this lens in this particular program? So it'll be helpful in applying that particular the second module of the new module, the second module over the development program. So applying the lens in the development programs and using this specific information and intervention under coastal fisheries management programs and livelihoods. Another favorite is the community engagement module because it really presents the actual processes, strategies, tips and step-by-step tools, diagrammatic representations. So these are things that will capture the eyes of the extension officers and allow them to take on board the principles and apply them and that lens into the work that they do. And so I'd like to reflect back to the 2020 theme of women in leadership, achieving an equal future in a COVID-19 world. Because we're not out of the doldrums as yet. And so my message to all women in fisheries leadership spaces would be the need to continue to strengthen and adjust our pathways to leadership, because that need for strengthening is ever more crucial now in this dynamic environment that we're working in, coupled with the new norms that we've had to take on over the last year, brought about by the pandemic. A reset on even government priorities, particularly for Fiji, and the impacts that the pandemic has had on the economy. There has been a reset by government with priorities focusing on the need for economic restoration or recovery, the need to ensure food security for our people and the sustainability of the resources that we manage. These key focus areas have never been so vital now as they were before, and so therefore our pathways voice must continue to be made stronger and also reinforced, and our voices be heard much, much louder than ever before. So a happy 2021 International Women's Day to all Pacific women out there.